So there's an interesting story this week that explored all the stuff around the burgeoning area of AI being explored in gaming.
Yeah, look, we both love gaming, and if anything is going to make it more revolutionary, which is what some of the studios claim, surely that's a great thing.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I can't quite wrap my head around the nature of how the gaming engine AI stuff will work. I mean, I'm talking specifically to where more of its implementation through that. So there was a example done last year by Ubisoft when they showed this kind of Neo NPC thing, and it was this Bartender game scene where the bartender, you could talk to this bartender, and it was powered by a GPT generative chat style thing. So it kind of had these guardrails, I suppose, but it was able to sort of enact in this sort of really kind of, again, Turing test, passing version of an NPC, and that moved beyond the sort of canned dialogue that a lot of MPs operate around as a current mechanism. And I just don't understand the nature of that writ large. I kind of feel like if you go into some of these games, especially the open world ones where you have the kind of role playing and sort of large scale worlds, and then every bot in it is a Neo NPC that's kind of got this whole generative engine behind it. It just seems like it would be chaos. There is this joke in gaming, right? Especially some of the open world ones and the role playing ones where you basically get all these side quests, and all you seem to be doing is these. I call them the potato gnome quests, where someone requires you to go and find 20 potato gnomes.
that's right.
You get sort of sent out on these sort of collection quests, and I can just see a future where you had this chaotic mess of just the worst version of constant side quests as it makes things up, and then somehow it gets lost on the main quest lines. And
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, one of the examples is that you can transform an inhospitable desert into a lush forest. When you're in need of calm, you can converse with computer characters. You can adjust the difficulty in combat encounters. I think my problem is exactly that if you have to do a whole lot of extra work as a participant in the game, besides thinking about who you're shooting or what you're doing or where you're going. And basically it is just constantly that you are going to have to examine whether you want to be calm or what you want to do, or whether you want a blue sky or a green sky. I mean, it just seems like extra layers that it is taking away from the fact that you are lost in a game. You never know quite where it's going. And I think you're controlling probably just a bit too much. That's unnecessary to have to do.
Yeah, I think so. And there's a quote here that I quite like where the guys from Call of Duty and Activision actually say injecting an unreliable, unknown AI into the process is quite intimidating. So that's my kind of concern about volatility and chaos nature into a system that already can be quite complicated, but then you're adding this sort of real-time process from these Neo NPCs. I think you've got to separate out here AI for production and AI for operation, right? Or in-game AI versus AI that's used by the industry to help it produce games. And I think like all creative industries now, and the creative nature of generative tools for production, it could be quite powerful and engaging as a method by which to shortcut processes and to change the nature of creative pipelines. But injecting it into the game itself in real time, that's as an in-game kind of AI agent that operates story, etc. I just don't know. I mean, we've seen the kind of complications that come from the unpredictable nature and hallucination. That's why too, you can imagine the game where you're supposed to be killing this bad guy, but the next minute the game makes up a completely new pathway.
Yeah, well, that's...
You never get to the end game state because it's created some other pathway that it keeps insisting exists.
Well, look, it's not quite there yet, a lot of these tools. And the point is that they're just going to go for gimmicks where you can chat to someone or whatever. It's just a distraction that isn't needed, and it sort of takes away from the quality of what some of the games are.
Yeah, so what we're looking at is pretty cool, probably, as all these generative things are for the creative pipeline process and production, but the jury's still out on either whether it's gimmick or Nate or just chaotic nature to try and bring it into in-game. And I think the article actually does say that it's all a bit of an unknown right now because it's all quite new, but they are going to definitely try it. It'll just have to be a watch this space of how that application results.
Well, with the cost of games, you're not going to be very happy if you pay a lot of money for a brand new game and then find you're constantly having to do all this work about changing this and making this decision or the rest, beyond what is normal gameplay where you already have to make some calls about what you do.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I can see a future where right now, of course, we still today have these 0-day launches that are disasters where the game isn't quite finished, and they're basically, one of the criticisms is we get these games which are still betaware, and you as the user who's bought it are continuing to be the beta tester. And, it can take weeks, months, years for these games to get to where they should have been before they launched. Well, I can imagine a future where we actually have games that now launch and they spend weeks, months, years trying to fix the AI in it because it's not playing nice.
Exactly.